Alright. So here the players arrived in the Tokyo Metro. And right now we're looking at Mei Ling, Alex, and Rose. And Mei Ling right there has a mission for you. Keep in mind, guys, this is work in progress footage. This is not final gameplay footage.
If Zubairi was here, he'd tell us this is the worst time to argue.
So it's not necessarily representative of how it's going to look at launch.
Sarah, get your gun.
Alright, so the character is playing the role of Sarah here, and how that works and how the player character is turned into this character is something I'm not going to reveal.
Open the gate! I'm trying! It's inside the electric somehow! No!
So this is the player's first encounter with what we call the filth. The filth is a source of evil in the world that is rising, it's pouring out. And players are going to be tasked with stopping it. And this is the first time they meet the filth. And these creatures right here, they're basically humans who have been infected with filth. Driven mad by it. You can actually listen to them talk, and they're talking themselves, they're just gibbering. Let's read it right now.
It's gone viral so fast. If this gets out into Tokyo, it doesn't. We stop it here, whatever it takes.
Shouldn't we consult the Council of Venice first?
He's referencing the Council of Venice here. This is an important entity in the game world. Everything that takes place in Tokyo Flashback here is really important to the story of the game. Like I said, this is about 5 minutes into the gameplay experience. This is the first 5 minutes of 150 to 200 hours of PvE content. And everything that's mentioned there, everything you talk about, everything you learn here is going to be important later on. You're going to find out what this means later
like
on.
all the other occult disasters, right?
This is a teaser.
We really have to stop mixing that.
But it's also a way to teach players the game mechanics here. As you can see at the bottom of the screen there, we equip 2 powers. I'll talk about that in a second. The player just ended up right in the middle of an explosion of filth. And there was an exclamation mark above the player's head just before that, warning you. That's not something that's going to carry on throughout the game. You're going to have to learn to sort of read when things is going to happen. You're not always going to get a warning. If this is the very beginning of the game, I want to teach people that first.
Maybe what we thought was filth was just decaf. And this is black as night. No venom.
New plan. Fight chaos with chaos. Keep the bastards at a distance, then take them out.
That's your plan?
Well, it's a plan.
Alright, so these guys are always bickering.
Make every shot count.
But they are a good team.
I count every shot. Jack Boone taught me that one.
And again, these guys are referencing characters that you'll meet later on in the game. So everything here means something. Everything here is significant. Alright, so the player has 3 powers now to bottom of the screen. We're gaining some as we're progressing through this encounter. And what these powers do, the first 2 there, are what we call builders. They just build resources on their target. The third one is a snare, an AoE snare. The great thing about the shotgun, which is the weapon this character is using here, is that it's a cone-based weapon. You do a lot of skill damage. My favorite weapon in the game. You can see you do multiple damage on multiple targets. So again, we're just teaching the player a few sort of base mechanics here. At the same time, we're introducing them to these characters and to the storyline of the game. Right, so these guys are actually starting to feel the effects of the filth.
Like a storm coming.
You see they have some effects on them. The player character is not influenced by it, and there's a reason for that.
Pushing down on me.
I'm not going to tell you.
No, I walk through the valley of it.
Alright.
Touch with a mouthful of blood.
So these guys are suffering, and the player has to go on their own.
Find Zubairi. We'll hold them here. Make a stand.
So they'll make a stand, and the player has to go on and find Zubairi, the 4th character in that team. So we're going to move on, follow the mission marker. When this guy shows up, and what he's doing here is triggering what we call an avoidable attack, and that attack could have been avoided. If you read the bosses when you fight them, you'll be able to avoid it. The Secret World is an MMO that encourages movement in combat. As you can see, we keep moving. All attacks allow you to move. You're never sort of stuck in one spot. And movement is important. We want to get it out of the way when these guys charge their big attacks. So, person playing here use their resources to build resources on targets. They then trigger what we call finishers. Powers that utilize all the resources to build in order to do a lot of damage. Both single target and AoE damage in the case of the shotgun. So again, just learning to keep the sort of the base mechanics of the game here. And now we see there's a battle ongoing outside. Let's move on. Now this is significant. The uniform this guy is wearing.
The cavalry has arrived.
And here's Severi as well.
Remember what I told you. They can only in life, but you have the talent to prolong it.
So this guy is wearing a Orochi uniform. Orochi is an important,
Take it into yourself.
important part of the game. And this is the first time you meet them. So the player gets a heal here. To heal the Orochi group security person here. And soon they're going to be going out there to join the Orochi in their fight against the Phil. And exactly what all this means, we're not revealing at this point. This is also the teaser, setting up the storyline. Because we really believe in sort of creating a deep background for the game, to have a lot of stuff for players to sort of feel there's a big mystery there.
Yeah, about that. This ain't looking much better, to be honest. No.
So these guys tried to make a stand, didn't work. So they're joining the player again. Now we're going out, again, joining the fight with these Orochi guys out there, already fighting against the Phil. And like I said, I mean, the great part about Tokyo Flashback, the great part of having this sort of very story-driven experience in the beginning of the game is that it really sets up so much. Already talked about the game mechanics themselves, in order to control the game, but also establishing the mystery, establishing these characters that you're going to see later in the game, establishing the secret societies and the conflicts between them. And it's a fun experience. I played this section myself probably 150 times and I still enjoy it. But I think most importantly, it just really introduces you to the background story in the Secret World. And our background story is vast and deep and complex. And our story is like a jigsaw puzzle. This is just a couple of pieces of it. There are tens of thousands of pieces in the game. You start to piece it all together, you'll learn more about what the game is really about, what this world is all about. Right now, we're just teasing you. We're just showing you a little bit of it.
The gate's opening. I think that's bad news. Yep, bad news. We're not stopping.
This is all to hold us back.
Alright, so it seems to be like this is a ruse. These guys are being distracted.
Someone has to push through. This confusion may be all the time we have.
So someone has to push through. That someone? It's gonna have to be us. And a lucky break, or maybe an unlucky one. There's no way back now. We're just gonna go on our own. It's quiet. It's too quiet. And what you're about to see is really what lies behind it all. A glimpse at the mystery behind the secret world. Alright, so that's Tokyo Flashback.